Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Aqio Gaming. Today let's take a look at Gardevoir. Well, first things first, you have to admit that this is a very elegant looking Pokemon and its dress is like petals in the shape of a gown and its feet doesn't seem to touch the ground. Gardevoir is a ranged attacker and it has its own special attack. But its main problem is that it has a very low endurance level, so it's best not to get very close to melee type Pokemon. While using Gardevoir, we always need to take advantage of its huge attack radius. So, instead of getting right at the center of the battle, it's best to pick off the enemy Pokemon from a great distance. Now, let's take a look at Gardevoir's evolution progression. At level 1, we start off with Rotts, which on hitting level 6 evolves into Kirlia, and finally at level 10 we get Gardevoir. The main thing that we have to keep in mind while using Gardevoir is that its HP is very low because of its low endurance level, which means it can be knocked out very easily by the enemy Pokemon. So, in the early stages of the game, when we have Ralts from level 1 to level 5, it's best not to engage any enemy Pokemon and focus only on the wild Pokemon and gain XP from them. Our main objective is to get to Gardevoir at level 10 by gaining XP as fast as possible. And we can do that very easily by taking on the wild Pokemon. As all of the wild type Pokemon are melee type Pokemon and we can pick them off very easily by using the ranged aspect of the basic attacks of Ralts or Kirlia. So Ralts or Kirlia doesn't even need to get close to the wild Pokemon and this will minimize the damage taken by them. We need to use the basic attacks range to our full advantage. Now let's take a look at Gardevoir's attacks. Starting off at level 1, we get to choose between Confusion and Teleport. Confusion has a cooldown time of 4.5 seconds and it sends an energy orb towards the direction of the enemy in a straight line, causing damage to the enemy Pokemon once it hits. Teleport on the other hand has a cooldown time of 11 seconds. It's a dash attack and the user can quickly move from one location to another designated location. We can also move through objects and enemies, but the movement range for this attack is very small. Teleport also doubles as a buff and it increases the attack damage caused by the basic attack. Now, when it comes to choosing, we always have to choose Confusion at level 1. Although Teleport provides a boost to the movement speed, but it lacks the firepower that is needed in the early stages of the game. Confusion is the obvious choice at level 1 because of its very short cooldown time of 4.5 seconds and its damage causing abilities. We automatically get Teleport at level 3. On reaching level 6, Ralts evolves into Kirlia and we get to choose between two attacks, Psyshock and Future Sight. Psyshock is one of my favorite attacks. It has a cooldown time of 10 seconds and is an area based splash attack. In Psyshock, small purple orbs attacks the designated location 3 times in quick succession. But the best thing about this attack is that the target area can be adjusted after every hit, which means even if we miss the first time, we can still hit the enemy Pokemon second or the third time around. More importantly, even if one of the 3 attacks hits the enemy Pokemon, then it reduces the cooldown time of the Psyshock. On reaching level 12, Psyshock upgrades to Psyshock Plus. In Psyshock Plus, the damage dealt by this attack increases every time one of the 3 attacks hits the enemy Pokemon. Reduced cooldown time and an attack buff every time one of the attack hits, and also an adjustable target area makes this attack very unique and also one of my favorite attacks. Next, moving on to Future Sight. It is another area-based attack and has a cooldown time of 9 seconds. Future Sight creates a delayed explosion in the target area. Because of the trigger delay, this attack can be quite tricky to get it right, as most of the time the enemy Pokemon can simply move out of the target area. Just like Psyshock, this attack's cooldown time is also reduced every time it hits the enemy Pokemon. Future Sight is upgraded to Future Sight Plus on reaching level 12 and this is where it gets interesting. In Future Sight Plus, every time the attack hits the enemy Pokemon, the cooldown timer of this attack is automatically reset to 0, which means there is no cooldown if the attack hits the target. We can unleash an endless barrage of Future Sight Plus attacks if we can ensure that each one hits the enemy Pokemon. Between Psyshock and Future Sight, I would always recommend Psyshock because of its easy maneuverability and its attack buff. Future Sight or Future Sight Plus can be very devastating at the end stages of the game. But because of its trigger delay, it can be dodged very easily by the enemy Pokemon. However, with a bit of practice, timing this attack becomes very easy and then it can be chosen over Psyshock. Now, when we get to level 8, we get to choose between two more attacks. First one is the Psychic and the second one is the Moonblast. First up is the Psychic. It's a ranged attack and has a cooldown time of 7 seconds. When it hits the enemy Pokemon, it deals damage to it over a period of time. This attack also doubles as a debuff. Increases the movement speed and the defense of the enemy Pokemon for a very short duration of time. The Psychic is actually quite easy to use and easy to aim. It shoots an orb in a straight direction towards the enemy Pokemon or towards the target area, and all the Pokemon in the target area gets affected by this attack. On reaching level 14, the attack is upgraded to Psychic Plus and it simply reduces the cooldown time of this move. Moving on to the next one, that is the Moonblast. The Moonblast is another ranged attack, but it has a cooldown time of 6 seconds. It is a stun attack and it immobilizes the enemy Pokemon for a short duration of time. While using the Moonblast, it pushes the enemy Pokemon closest to Gardevoir away from it, and at the same time, Gardevoir also moves backward. This actually helps in a lot of tricky situations. For instance, this attack can be used to make a quick escape when the health of Gardevoir is low, as this attack creates a distance between the enemy and Gardevoir. Also, this attack can be quite useful when Gardevoir is overwhelmed by a number of enemy Pokemon. On reaching level 14, the Moonblast gets upgraded to Moonblast Plus. This provides Gardevoir with a small shield when this attack is used. Now, choosing between the Psychic and the Moonblast is actually quite straightforward and easy. The Psychic is a debuff while the Moonblast is a stun attack. While the Psychic can be quite useful in certain situations, but the Moonblast is the obvious choice in most cases. The Moonblast works in perfect combination with Gardevoir's other attacks, that is the Psyshock and the Future Sight. Future Sight, which has a trigger delay, works best with Moonblast. The stun of the Moonblast keeps the enemy Pokemon paralyzed for a short period of time. This, when immediately followed by Future Sight, will ensure that Future Sight hits the enemy Pokemon, as the enemy Pokemon is unable to move due to the stun attack. Similarly, Moonblast followed by Psyshock can work miracles and can instantly knock out the enemy Pokemon sometimes. Properly timed Moonblast followed by Psyshock can ensure that all the 3 stages of the Psyshock attack hits the enemy Pokemon, and thus knocking it out instantly. So, since the Moonblast works in perfect sync with either Future Sight or with Psyshock, that makes it the obvious choice over Psychic. Finally, on hitting level 10, Gardevoir's Unite move gets activated. It's called the Fairy Singularity. It creates a swirling vortex at the center of the target area and pulls all the enemy Pokemon towards it. When the attack ends, it pushes all the enemy Pokemon away from Gardevoir and away from the target area. At the same time, it deals huge damage to the enemy Pokemon. Gardevoir's Unite move targets any number of Pokemon that is present within the target area, and it is not focused on only one single Pokemon. So, here are a few clips that demonstrates all the attacks of Gardevoir. As you can see, Rolls is using Confusion on Krabby. And here you see the teleport move, a small dash forward or in any particular direction. Here is the range of the Confusion attack, and it sends an orb towards the enemy Pokemon. Another Confusion attack and the teleport attack can also be used to get close to the Pokemon if it is running away. The Confusion attack is not very powerful at the beginning, so it's best not to engage any enemy Pokemon and focus only on the wild Pokemon, gain experience and level up Gardevoir as fast as possible. Here you can see the teleport attack being used, and you can see that you can teleport through objects and also through enemies, but the distance traveled is very small. Here is the 3-stage attack of Psyshock. As you can see, we can change the attack area after each hit. And here is a combination of Moonblast and Psyshock. The Moonblast stuns Lucario and the Psyshock then brings down the rain on it. Here is the Unite move of Gardevoir. First, the Vortex pulls Mamoswine towards the center and then it is pushed outwards while it takes damage. Here is how the Psychic attack works. As long as the enemy is within the target area, it takes damage, but as soon as it steps out, it no longer gets damaged. Here is the Future Sight attack, and as you can see, there is a trigger delay which allows Blastoise to get away from the target area. Here is a successful execution of the Future Sight attack. You will see as soon as the attack hits Machamp, it immediately resets, allowing us to use it again and again. There is one, there is the reset, there is another, and there is again another reset. Coming to the battle items, the first and the most obvious choice here is the eject button. It has a cooldown time of 70 seconds and this is my first choice for Gardevoir. Given the fact that Gardevoir has a low endurance level, that means its HP can fall very quickly. This can be used for a quick getaway from the enemy Pokemon. Gardevoir has a really tough time against speedsters, and sometimes when they get really close, it becomes very difficult to keep Gardevoir alive. And for those instances, eject button is the best option, as it helps getting some distance between Gardevoir and the enemy Pokemon. Now, as for the second choice, it's a tie between X attack and X speed. Both are really good second options if you are not using the eject button. X attack has a cooldown time of 40 seconds and it boosts both Gardevoir's normal attack and its special attack. The X attack fits really well with attacker type Pokemon such as Gardevoir. It helps in boosting the already high attack stats of these Pokemon. The X speed has a cooldown time of 50 seconds and it simply boosts Gardevoir's movement speed and also negates all speed debuffs working on Gardevoir. Finally, the last and the final choice is the potion. It restores Gardevoir's HP over a short duration of time. You can experiment with the potion, but honestly, I never had any luck with the potion, so I prefer not to use it. Moving on to the held items. Shell Bell is the first and the mandatory choice. It will restore some of Gardevoir's HP every time an attack hits. And honestly speaking, we need as much HP recovery as possible for Gardevoir because of its extremely low endurance levels. If we are using the Shell Bell as the held item, then there is no point using the Healing Potion as the battle item, as basically both of them does the same job. Moving on, the second held item that we have to use is the Scope Lens. It increases the crit hit of the basic attacks of Gardevoir. The third choice can either be the Wise Glasses or the Special Attack Glasses. Both of these boost the attack stats of Gardevoir. The Wise Glasses increases the special attack of Gardevoir by 5%, while the Special Attack Glasses increases Gardevoir's special attack every time Gardevoir scores a goal. Now, if we want to build Gardevoir for extreme offense, then we can equip both the Wise Glasses and the Special Attack Glasses, and at the same time equip the X attack option in the battle item. Another good alternative is the Float Stone. It increases the movement speed of Gardevoir, and so if we have this one equipped, then there is no need to use the X speed as the battle item. Here are a few clips of me playing with Gardevoir. Well, thanks everyone for watching this video. Feel free to like this video and also subscribe to my channel. If you have anything else to add, then feel free to comment down below. Until next time, see you.